Hey guys, my name is Zeniac and welcome to what could be a potential brand new series of Transport Fever 2. I currently am in the North American area, mainly the United States of America, and we're going to be creating a brand new transportation company. Now, for those who joined the live streams, you will remember that I did a small little stream on using this map, and I thought it would be a great idea to turn it into a city. So this pretty much covers the whole expansion of the United States, minus Hawaii and Alaska. It also does have a little bit of Canada in. At the very top over here, you can see a little bit of Toronto and Montreal. And I think over here we also have, Minneapolis. I was going to say, I thought that was a little bit of Canada there for a second. We also have all the way down to the bottom, we have a little bit of Mexico as well. We have, I can't even pronounce that one. Is it Zacatecas? I can't even pronounce it. I do apologize. We have more little areas here. We have Baja, California. And we also have a little bit of the kind of Caribbean islands in the Bahamas, a little bit of Cuba. We have down here the Turks and Caicos Islands. And I think we have the Bermuda over here too. So we pretty much have like the Bermuda Triangle. Now we're going to be creating our very own transportation company over this expansive land, which is not only going to be expensive, but can also reap huge benefits and rewards as I go completely crazy. Guys, if you do enjoy this, please smash the like button down below. If you're new here, make sure you do subscribe so you get notified when the next episodes come out. And brief. So, first things first, then we have 5 million big ones in the bank, and that has come from the fact that we do have a loan. Now, ignore this 4.5 million. I think this is from whoever created this map. That's where that money has kind of gone. But I'm kind of excited. I am very, very, very excited right now. The year is currently 1850, and we're currently going in a 1 speed. I've currently got it paused, just to kind of save a bit of money from paying those repayments right now. So like I said, guys, if you do enjoy this, want me to turn this series, smash the like button down below, leave a comment saying you full play some more, and we'll do just that. But we have a bunch of great ways in which we can start. Now, as of right now, the towns and cities, we have like Boston, we have New York, and, you know, Washington, Charlotte, Atlanta. They're a little bit small at the moment, and they're quite largely spaced apart. So I think I'm going to hold off on public transport for the beginning of this series, and kind of mainly focus on industry, feed the cities, then start transporting the people. Now, there's a couple of good places I can pretty much start. I did think about starting in Florida. We have this little kind of food run right now. We can take the food back and forth to Miami, to Tampa. But I also have in the Great Plains over near Kansas City, all of this food which we can deliver to localized processing plants. As you see, there's one down in Oklahoma as well. And my idea could have been to set up a nice little train route to go back and forth to feed this, to then feed Kansas, which will be a great central city in transporting people from the east to the west. My only problem is, how expensive is this going to be? Well, for rail, if I go to buildings, I can set up a cargo station. We can do like this little side one. And to build something like this, it isn't actually that expensive. I might go on the large side of kind of creating these stations. So if I rotated this, I could kind of get it in here, but this is the thing I got to think of. I've always got to think of the next step when it comes to building my runs. So if I had, let's say I collected the food from over here, this little farm outside Minneapolis right now. If I collected the kind of the wheat from there to bring it down, right, it gives it a good enough run that when it drops the food or the wheat off, it will make some big money. And then obviously it will travel back. Now, what would be also pretty cool is if we got to here, it maybe then traveled down to this Kansas City farm to collect some more there to bring it back. Then I've got this back and forth between these two wheat farms to feed the Kansas City food processing plant. I've then got two options. I could either take the food that it produces to deliver to Kansas to grow it, which is wonderful. But at some point, I could also, as the train comes back to here and then goes back up to there, I could load it up with food to then drop it off in Minneapolis to come back to load up here to go back. That's actually quite a good idea. I could then potentially do the same thing coming down to these cities at the bottom too, and even to Oklahoma. So it gives me a lot of potential to kind of build up this little run. Now, at the same time, I can do a cheaper version down in Miami. Now, I think this will be a good little money maker, but this has the potential to be a $1 billion business. So that's what we're going to try and do. That's what we're going to try and do right now. So what we'll do then, we'll start them by just building a simple road here. We'll keep this nice and simple, and this has only been placed here just for the purpose of me being able to have a better kind of connection when it comes to the cargo. Now this cargo here, it doesn't quite connect to the actual city itself, because that would also be a good way to bring more stuff in the future. So if I just ran this up to there, I'm just hoping that this will, okay, so it kind of connects. If I bring it down to about there, it will connect on to a little bit of the industry for Kansas. Now, I'm not too worried that it's not food, but eventually I can maybe bring over machines. So again, always thinking of the next step ahead. That is what I'm trying to do. And as the roads grow, the expansions will continue. So let's place that there. Now, do I set it up for multiple tracks? I think I would be stupid not to set it up for multiple tracks. So we'll get 2 train tracks on this right now, which costs me 700,000. Do you know what? No. We'll go with the singular, because I'm only going to have 1 train to begin with, right? There we go. There we go. Beautiful. So the first run is going to come all the way from over here. Now, the reason I'm going for bigger platforms is because they can hold more cargo on the line itself. So drop you there. And eventually we'll get to Minneapolis. This is not a major thing at the moment. It's just something that will eventually get up and running. And then we'll build another one just here as well. So we can actually feed that plant as much food as we could possibly want. So placing you just there. There we go. So I spent over $1 million already, which is quite terrifying when you think about it. It is quite terrifying. And then we're just going to get these train lines all cleared up. So that's 112,000. And this one is obviously going to be the most expensive one. So bringing you up. Just to making sure it kind of fits in nicely. So a nice simple back and forth route. Damn, I've only got 3.2 million remaining. But what we could get from this is going to be absolutely glorious. So what we'll first do then, we'll set up a new line. Where am I going? I'm going in the wrong section right now. Which it will obviously start here, stop there, back up to there, back to there, and then retreat back. So in Minneapolis right now, all we're going to simply do, we're going to do a, well, load if any. I should really do it on the settings here. We're only going to load the wheat. That's what we're going to do. And then in Kansas City, we're going to then only unload the wheat. There we go. And then back in Kansas City West, which is down here, the food processing plant, we're then going to load the wheat to head back to then unload the wheat. So we're going to have 1 train to begin with, and that's simply all it's going to do, is load and unload the wheat. And then we'll slowly start getting food from here, take it to Kansas City, and slowly grow this, as this will be a major hub when it comes to transporting people. I think that would be a pretty cool way to do this. So all I've got to do right now then is get the little depot down for the trains and stuff. So we got a little bit of space just here. So we can utilize a little kind of station for the trains. So if I go buildings, we need a train depot. So rotate this all the way around. And we're just going to build it just there. And we need to bring the train tracks out. So I could bring it in like this. And then we can do the exact same thing going in this way. Just to make sure that we got the left and right. Now, because we only have 1 train, there's no need for me to do any of the signals just yet. We only have 1 train. It's not until I get my 2nd train up and running on this that we can do the signals. So we'll just keep it nice and basic to begin with. And we need to buy our first train. So this is 1850, sorry. So the train's selection is just steam. Which could be a really bad decision to make so early on in the game. But who knows? So the Baldwin's 6 wheels right now. If I select this, it is a loading speed of 1, emission 75, weight 20 tons. It has a power of 95 horsepower and tractive effort 95. Is it? I'm not sure what the QN means. I can't remember. Is it something Newton kilowatts? I don't really know. I could be just talking jibber jabber. And then we need to get the wagons. So for cargo, we need the one that carries wheat, which would be the gondola. Now, this in itself is 10 tons. So 2 of these is the same weight of the actual train itself. Now, I reckon that we go to 4. That means I'm spending and investing $1 million on one vehicle. Terrifying, right? Absolutely terrifying. So if I buy the vehicle, and if I then select it to go on my brand new line, now this will take some time before we start to see it making money, but this is my risky effort to start earning big cash. Now I could have, like I said, done a much more simplified version here, but the money we would have made probably wouldn't have been as good as what we're making right now, or potentially could be making right now. So this is going to chug along. It's not going to be very fast, and it's going to be quite expensive to run until we do start making money. Now, the train itself can have a capacity of 28. There is already 15 on the platform. 17, 18. So when this comes back, 28 is currently the capacity. We almost have enough, and hopefully we have enough by the time it gets here. So it's coming into shot right now. Will it get to 28 in time? Come on, there we go. So that's going to be a full load straight away. So it gets there, completely loads up, and off we go again. This best make me some serious cash, or we are going to be slightly panicking from the get-go. So I reckon we'll focus on trying to build this industry up, and then also have in the distance. So I feel like I'm going to set this up as well, but mainly road vehicles. Just so we can have something making continual profit. Where are we? Oh, there we are. While this makes big chunks of cash every so often. So that's now chugging along. Our beautiful little train. Which is going to take a while to get there. That's the only downside when you build something like this. But once it does get over here, though, it should be a decent amount of cash. So we've already lost 92,000 in running costs this year, or in total, I should say, from this train. So as soon as it drops there, make some money, we'll head over in that way. It'll be quicker to get that and bring it back and make money, so hopefully it all works out in the long run. So the train's actually not too far from now coming. You can just see the factory or the city, Minneapolis, on the horizon. It's pretty cool, isn't it? So in it comes, choo to the choo choo choo. Now this is it, make or break. Is this going to be worth it or not? Oh wow, okay, that's definitely going to be worth it. So that's going to pay the bills for quite some time, and it's going to go back there, fully load up, which I'm assuming there's quite a bit there. So that should do us justice then. That should do us quite well. Now I've got the option to either start setting this route up now, or just leave it until I've got a couple more trains and more cargo coming in to make it worth its while to go back and forth. Okay, this is quite exciting. This is actually quite exciting. So obviously it's not going to feel like I'm making much money right now. How do I change this to what's it currently on right now? 50, 51? What are these years? You damn. I think because the way we kind of started the game, isn't it? So on this current year, we're making 26,000 profit. Now that's pretty jazzy, don't get me wrong. And you can see the breakdown of the maintenance versus the tickets coming in. So tickets is that, even though this is actually cargo, but it's going back right now. So how much is it going to make on this? So it should make a lot less on this run, but it's still in profit currently, this train. 170,000. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So we'll let that tick along right now and do its thing. And then eventually we'll kind of expand it to get either a second train or add more gondolas to this current train. We'll let it do what it's got to do. So into play mode then, because there's no need to rush. We'll set this little system up here via vehicles only. That's what we'll kind of do right now. So it's a bit unique in how we kind of need to create this. So for vehicles, we need to go to building, and then we need the truck stop. So we could also do a truck unload stop, but I'm going to also want to be able to load from this to then take it to one of the many cities, Miami or St. Petersburg over there. So what we're going to do then is we're going to set up a truck stop, and I want to set it up just over here. So if I can just get this right. So if I place that just there on that one. So I'm doing it on the inner side, so if Miami does grow quite big, my truck stop's not kind of impeding it too much. Over on this side, it should be fine, so I'm going to actually add this in just there, because there's nothing really else around. And then for this one, we'll rotate it, and we'll place it just there, because it's not really going to harm anybody being there anyway. So for now, we'll just set it up to where it simply goes back and forward like this. Exactly what our train route does, but with road vehicles. And then once we got a consistent supply, we'll then take one vehicle to Miami and we'll take one vehicle to St. Petersburg. So it's a case of now, rather than, I could just do a simple loop like this with the road, but I think I'd rather have the road kind of maintain this flow than anything, which is going to be pretty unique. So where is all the food? All the food's around here, so do I just take it from this road or this road? I mean, I suppose they can both pretty much connect. So I've got to make sure we do a road as well that's got a decent speed limit. So apparently this speed limit here is a 25. Okay. And we'll take it from this one as well. So should we go for a little bit of a bend? Because at the same time, I do want to kind of keep the cost of building pretty cheap. So that's a nice little flow down. And this here will flow down quite nicely like that. And then of course, we'll just do a simple connection there, because it might turn out that I want to go down this way. Depends on where I put my stop. So in reality then, can I upgrade this strip of road? I can. Make things a little bit more quicker. We might as well upgrade this strip of road and this strip of road as well. And then all we got to do is bring these in for a sweet and simple connection. So I'm not going to do like that. I'm going to do it where it kind of connects as a T-junction. The easiest way to kind of transition traffic in and out. And then the same thing for this. Nice little simple T-junction. There we go. Nothing too crazy. Nice and simple. I'm favouring the vehicle flow between the two cities and from the actual plant itself with food to the cities over bringing the wheat from the farms. That's how I'm kind of seeing it. So let's create a new line. We need to rename these lines as well. So we're going to go from here to here to here to here. So it's pretty much the same setup as what we've got on the train line. So from Miami FL East, we load him. Then from the branch, we are then completely unloading. So going back over here to loading. And then going back again to completely unloading. Nice and simple, mates. No dramas. Nothing too crazy. Nice and simple. It should make us some decent money. So, now we need to place down the building for the road depot. Which, as I slowly choke on my own words, we will place this. Oh, where do I place this? I could just implement it just here at the end of this road, because there's not really much going to be going on here at the minute. And then by vehicles, cargo. Now we've only got horse-drawn carts, so this is going to be quite fun. So if I go with 5 and spend 100,000 and place these all on that line. Now granted, it's only going to be able to handle so much cargo on here, these platforms. Until I start to expand them. So we'll kind of hold out and wait. So I've just spent a lot of money right now. So I need to hope that what I've now done is going to make me enough money. So how much do these horse and carts carry? They can handle up to 4. Now eventually when it's all spaced out a little bit better, the platforms will have a lot of cargo waiting. But yeah. So let's keep an eye on this then. So even with only 2 being carried, it'll be interesting to see how much money it actually makes. So this will eventually become quite a busy road with time to come. So that's something that we have to kind of be wary of, and we'll have to upgrade to a high capacity at some point. So here comes my vehicle. It's holding up other horse and carts behind it, which is hilarious. So in it comes, and how much does it make just by delivering 2? 2,000. So that vehicle is already in the green. That one didn't make any because it had nothing on board. This one's got 4, so this one should make like 4 grand. You ready for this? Oh, 4,300. So that'll be quite profitable. Like I said, it's not huge profits, but they should be quite profitable as time goes on. And now at this point, every time they should go to one of these stops, it should be completely overloaded, so they'll always have a full load on them. That's what we're kind of hoping for anyway. So again, we'll just let that tick along and do what it's got to do, and hopefully that will kind of keep us making revenue while we wait for the big revenues we made over here. So we're just going to make sure right now that we are making the cash. Right? We're going to make sure that we are making the cash and we're not losing out too much. Because we've got big investments that we're paying for stuff, infrastructure costs. It does get a little bit pricey and a little bit expensive. So let's see what we can kind of do on this year then. So, in comes the train, collecting all the goods, and that'll make 170 big ones when it stops off again. It's not enough to make this do anything at the moment, but it should be enough to kind of make us that sweet profit. So for the first time then, we have one coming back from the opposite way. So with a full load, coming from here made 4,300. Technically this one's a little bit closer. So this should make a little bit less than the other one. Oh no, it doesn't. 5,100. Oh, okay. Oh, that was pretty sweet. That was pretty sweet. So how are we doing then? So we're still losing money. But I'm going to assume the train has just stopped off and just made a chunk of cash. So we're actually $1,000 profit on the year. The main big loser at the moment is road. But as time goes on, that should kind of change slightly. But as that goes back up here and brings it all back, that will make some big dollar bills again. So we are just still playing the waiting game. Still playing the waiting game. So it will take time. It's not a cheap and easy process. You gotta invest big cash to make some big stacks. But we gotta bring this deficit down and then work upon it. So it could be a case that I need to add more gondolas to the train. I need to add more vehicles to this run. I mean, I could add another 5 for another 100,000 horse and carts on this run. That would also be a good shout. But it all depends on this train. This train is super slow. And that's the only downside of me creating such a long route with a slow train. Because I feel like its delivery, if I check its finances... Okay, so it's always made profit on every year it's ran. But this year is going to end shortly. It goes to the 8th month. It's weird. It's 9th month to the 8th month. It's a weird year, isn't it? How they break it down. But I don't know if that train will get back in time before this year ends or it'll be the start of the next year. I don't know. But even so, the money we're generating from the tickets of the vehicles is not enough to supplement all the outgoings of the vehicles. So we need to add more vehicles on that route. So we're going to get quite close with breaking even, but we're going to have to buy... If I bought 10... So I'll have 15 in total on that run. Now that would be a really good way to ensure that we're consistently making revenue, but it's also going to be quite scary of how much I have to spend out before we do start making money. So these little carts right now going out are going to be fully loaded. Now this is terrifying how much I've now gone ahead and invested. But this is the risk I'm playing. I don't have the money to do another train, so we have to do it in vehicles. But every so often we'll get a big payday from the train. So that's the kind of the saving grace on that. So this year has not fully ended. I'm not sure when it actually does fully end. Or does it run to the actual end of December? I don't know. But that train's going to come in before the end of December anyway. Make some big dollar bills. And that almost breaks us even on the whole year. So we make a profit on the trains, which is really good to see. That previous year we didn't. Oh, could we turn a profit on the year? Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, sorry, no. It's 9th to... Yeah, so I got that completely wrong. So I just spent some big investments, and that would have been on more vehicles. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Right, back to Miami, because we've got so many horse and carts now running along. But this should be pretty good. We should always see consistent money coming in. So this should have like a consistent flow, but it's not enough for it to start processing the food just yet. So as long as we go green on the month, which in this game it's go blue, and no longer be in the red. I just want to, because the train looks like it's going to be making profit. I just want to get the road vehicles to be making profit. So they're now turning a profit. I just now got to do enough to cover off my investments. So my loan interest is actually not too big. And the reason why this number is so high at the moment is because the amount I spent on road vehicles. So we won't have that expenditure. So you could add that on to the next year. So that's kind of like the other way you can kind of look at it. But anyway, we need to think about our next move. Our next move to make even more monies. So while this does get delivered quite a big stack of cash, it's still not frequent enough to kind of say, okay, it's worth doing a run from that to the city. So it could be a case of trying to figure out what we can do here to make this a bit better. So I could edit this vehicle, and we can't replace the engine just yet, but I can add more cargo on it, more gondolas. Now they cost 200,000, so if I added an additional one, I'll get an extra 7 capacity, right? But if I then add another one on, an extra 14. Now that's going to cost me 400,000, but then the other side of it is the money I make additional with those 2 extra gondolas is going to pay big stacks. I'm just hoping it doesn't slow down the train too much. To be honest with you, I don't think it is. So we're now going to load up then with 14 more wheat than we ever did before. Is it called wheat or grain? It's called grain, actually. So 14 more than we originally had, which is half of what our previous full capacity was. So we've upped our capacity by 50%. So in reality, when you think about it then, I should be making, what, 450,000 when this drops off over here? Right, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll come back to that in just a moment. So this route's still ticking along. It's, again, in the blue, is the best way to put it. It's in the blue. But I just spent even more money on investment, so we're not going to see anything on the year just yet. All I can really focus on is the charts, maybe. Oh, did you not show me timescale? Can I do it by 3 years? This is the blue. What I'm looking at the most is making sure that we are consistently making more revenue than the previous year. Because the expenditure all comes down to, like, you know, obviously expenses and my investments. So it doesn't really matter too much about that at the moment, how much I spend, because I can control slightly some of it. What I can't control is the normal expenses. But let's just see what this one now makes. This would be a big chunk. This might even get me back to being over $1 million in the bank. And definitely clear those debts as well. $560,000. Oh my god. So take away the investments into account as well. We're definitely making some serious cash. So that's great. That's real good. So I think then we can... I think that will now afford us to slowly do some small expansions as time goes on. Biggest one would be to get a secondary train. That would be the biggest expansion I could do. Or just maybe just add more gondolas to that current train for now. So, forgetting all that anyway, I can actually check the routes to see how they're doing, can't I? Down here. So they're both making money. Obviously the train makes so much more money than the actual vehicles itself. But they both make money. I just got to make sure it covers enough for all the other stuff I got to spend. So paying back the loan, obviously I've got to do that at some point, but in reality it's only costing me 50 grand a year. It's not really a huge issue, 50 grand a year at the moment. So I think we can kind of get away with that. It's just more the fact of maybe building a secondary train. on this. So, what would be the best way then for me to implement a secondary train? Now, it's going to cost me like, you know, over $1 million to build or buy a new train. But all I've got to do between the stations, all I've got to have is a secondary train line. That's all I've got to have. Because I can add the signals in that they wait for one another at the station for now without having to build an extra station. Because I want to expand this in a way that costs me the least amount of money. You know what I mean? So we'll start with this section first. Because eventually when I got more money, I'll set it up all properly and stuff like that. But to kind of do it spending the least amount of cash. So if I start here and then came out to there, I could then run this parallel to about there and then bring you in. Okay? We'll do the signals anyway. So obviously they're going to go straight ahead on this way and then wait there. And then we'll do this every so often. Did I just get one in? Yeah. Because if there's multiple trains on this same run, at least we have the signals dotted along every so often. There we go. So that will be the perfect one for waiting here. And that's it. Nothing else I can really add in because no more needs to be done there. Now, in terms of waypoints, I think it should be... passing trains will use their horn. Oh, okay. I think it's self-explanatory, this. So if I... yeah, it does it automatically, so I don't need to add the waypoint in. So that will sort that out. I've now just got to spend the money to do this one. And this one's a longer version of it. So yeah. Yeah. But if I can get this in, then this is how we progress to having a second train on this line, making double the money that I'm currently making. Now, to extend this train line down, it's going to cost me $350,000 just for that run alone, which unfortunately I kind of have to do if I want to progress any further than what I'm doing right now. So if I spend that money there, bring this in to there. Now, yes, a lot of cash, but that train's going to drop off in a minute, and that's going to be a lot of cash. That's going to be over $500,000 it's going to pop in right now. So back to the signals then. Obviously, we're going this way to then going that way. Will that automatically update the route? Yes, it does. But of course, I want to make sure that we're doing it every so often. So there's multiple trains. They can still make progression while there's another train on this run. Because how it works is, if a train's coming down there, as soon as it goes past that signal, the train behind can go all the way to that signal until the next train, the train in front passes that signal, and then the next one moves along. So I'm going to do this quite nicely spaced out, so they can also maintain somewhat of a decent speed. Now, this is the next interesting bit as well, because at the same time, you kind of want to allow them to merge on both sides for the in and out of the depot. So I've got to now take that into account, don't I? So in reality then, I think all you need to do is have the people on the current line wait for the train to come out of the depot. I think that's all we need to do, right? I'm hoping so. I could be wrong on that. Because I'm not going to build a secondary line or two lines for the in and out of the depot. Because that would be... oh. Is it me? Are they slightly separated here more than usual? It's kind of annoying, isn't it? I'll add that all in. So we're all good to go. So I'm pretty much good to go if I wanted to build the next train. Now, granted, I can't afford the next train just yet. We can't afford it. So I don't even want to check all this. Do I have to check all this right now? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness me. Even with all the money we just spent, we're in profit on the year? Is that for real? So you can now see, if I spread this out, the money being generated. This current year has been the best year to date. And I'm very happy with that. But we can literally almost double the profit by adding an additional train in. So let's just kind of find out first then how much a new train's going to be. So I know I could duplicate the other one, but let's just kind of go through this one slowly. So $250,000 straight in the bank. So I can afford this with 2 gondolas on. Now the other one's got 6. So to have the 6 is going to cost me 1.4 million. That does seem ridiculous. But if I started with a basic 4, I just need 1 million big ones. That's all I need to start with the basic 4 to just earn revenue to then be able to afford additional gondolas on it. So I think that's what the goal would be, just to buy the one with 4 and then we'll progress from there. Right. Okay. So how are we doing over here then, guys? I mean, that will never have enough for what we've currently got down. But as soon as we unlock the next type of vehicle, I could upgrade all of these and then carry even more cargo. But that's when we really have to then start thinking about expanding this. How are these doing anyway? The shipment, the transport, it's all making some great progression. I like it. I'm actually quite happy with the basic start. It's a bit of a struggle of a start right now, but we have potential to make so much money with the way we're setting this all up. That's kind of what we got to think of. We have to remind ourselves that's just how it is. Right, okay. So this is chewing along. So that will give me enough money to the point where I'll be over $1 million. But is it... Do I risk it? Do I risk it for the chocolate biscuit to buy the train straight away now? Ooh, a new train just been unlocked. Which goes 3 miles an hour faster than what I've currently got. Which is not really worth it at the moment for the sheer almost double price that currently is. I don't think it would be worth the investment to spend that much money just for an additional 3 miles an hour. But this is now going to stop off. Oh, actually, do you know what? It wasn't enough to buy that next train. It was not enough to buy that next train. Yikes! Okay. Okay. So we're going to have to wait for it to come back from this way. Again, not a problem. Not a problem. How are we doing over here then? Because this alone doesn't supplement all the additional expenses. Even though we're making profit on the year, what the vehicles make don't supplement all the other expenses for the trains as well. So that's why it kind of feels like we still lose a little bit of money. But where's the trains? I always forget where we are. Okay, that one's now on the way back. So as soon as it stops off here, we should get this one ready to be purchased. So as soon as it stops off, where is it? It's just there. So as soon as it stops off, we'll buy this train. Providing that this stop off here makes enough money for me to be able to buy the train. Oh my goodness me, the stress, boys. The stress I have to go through right now. Right, come on. It's almost here. Let me zoom right in. I actually don't know how much it makes with 6 cargoes, gondolas, coming from that direction. How much does it make? Oh, 250. Oh, you're joking me! And that doesn't make enough. Oh, I'm sad. Very sad, guys. Very, 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 very sad. Right, I just don't want to spend a single penny again. I mean, I know I could get an extend the loan. Actually, can I extend the loan? I could borrow another $500,000. Do you know what? I'm gonna borrow. I'm gonna borrow $1 million. Sole reason for. Right, we will buy the train right now. So Steam. I mean, again, I know I can buy that one, but it's not gonna be worth it just yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Buy the train, right? But obviously not pump it out just yet because this train, if it comes out now, it'll be running along with this train. And I would like it spaced out where we're making money every so often. Big chunks are being paid straight away. So I've kind of now got to wait, which is annoying. So wait for this to load up. And when do you think I should release it? It's got to come out here down to there. So I should release it when it's about here on the way back. And that will be pretty much as even as you could make it at that point. So it's all loaded up. Off it now goes. So this is make or break. I mean, I've got more room to get another loan, but I don't want to. And I will try and pay it back as soon as I can. But this is interesting. Right, we'll come back to that in just a moment. Is there room for additional vehicles on this run? I mean, I don't think so, because as soon as I can upgrade the capacity of the vehicles, then you start to need less and less vehicles. It looks nicely spaced out right now, where there's always a vehicle or two arriving at the area. Okay. So that's now chugging along. So we'll get this ready. So as soon as this train, as I choke, gets to about here, we'll release this on line 1. So just waiting right now. Almost there. Almost there. You know what? I'm impatient. I'm doing it. I'm too impatient. So hopefully then. Hopefully. Oh wait, it's going that way. Oh, that's not the way I wanted it to go. Oh no. Oh no. Right, fine. It is what it is. It is what it is, boys. It is what it is. Okay. Anyway, 2 trains now on. So that should make us some big stacks. And what will be quite interesting, actually, this might turn out to be good because we'll actually test this back and forth system. So that line is perfect anyway. So we'll test this little back and forth. As this is now going to come down to there, that's going to go into there and it's going to come back out. But that will chug along and then... Yes, actually, this could work out fairly well to make sure that I've created this system correctly. So it should stop here unless it's going directly... Yeah, it's... Oh, no. I thought it was going to go directly to the end, but it's not. But that's now going to go while this is coming out. So this one should go to the right. Which it does. And this one should go to its right. Which it does. And then together, we should see the great crisscross happen. Zoom. 2 trains. In a world where Seniac builds a company with 2 trains and he still can't turn a profit. Right, so that would be big stacks coming in. And it'll make even big money coming back from that direction. Right, I'm happy. I'm very, 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 very happy. So, with that said then, the 2 systems set up are only really to deliver the materials to the factory. The factories that we deliver them to aren't getting substantial amounts to, for me to consider having a route coming from it. Maybe this one at some point now, the way it's going to be all the goods dropping off. But I think we should create a 3rd run of something like this somewhere else. Now, we'll probably come away from the food for now and see if I can create something a little bit different. Now, we'll do vehicles again because the money implementation that comes from it is a bit stressful. Oh, there's wood up here we can utilize. That would be pretty cool. I'm just kind of scanning around to see what else we have available. There's a bit of oil up there. Oh, we have some ore. Ore's a good one. Ore's a really good one. And that can make some serious cash. And then we get into all the mountainous areas right now, which look how the camera goes really bumpy as I go over it. It goes up and down over the bumps. That will take a lot of money just to kind of terraform the land to utilize it. Oh, we have some oil down here. See, if I want to mess with the oil, because I know how profitable that's going to be, I think I should also save that for trains. So is that forestry one kind of calling my name slightly? It feels like it could. But the system to kind of load, I can't do a back and forth double. You know what I mean? It's down there, up, down, back and forward, down and up. But again, it's another smooth money maker. So you can't argue too much. And it's going to have to be vehicles because of how much it's going to cost me. What's this here? We have a skid mark. We have a glorious skid mark. So I'll come back to that in just a second. Where's my trains? So that one's now on the way back. This one's now just fully loaded and on the way back as well. So the other argument I could make is, Seniac, why don't you get a third train on this instead? Now that's pushing some serious boundaries. That really will be pushing some serious boundaries because I can invest the money on a road network and make minimal monies. I mean, previous year made 143,000, or the railway made 500,000. Made even more this year so far, which is going to make even more in general when that secondary train is on the way down. So, yes, but again at the same time, I need money to be made. Right, let's think about this logically then. So if I'm to grow Kansas, it needs the food, which he's going to get, and it needs the machines. My other options are to grow Miami or St. Petersburg. Oh, which they both need machines. So shouldn't I create an industry that creates machines? That's the logical step forward, isn't it? But before we do anyway, is this getting adequate enough goods coming in right now for me to build a route back and forward? I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. I mean, it just drops it off. Only really 38, but how long does it last? Not long. It's taken a big chunk out of it before that train's even departed from the station. So yeah. Right, machines then. What makes machines? So let me find a machine maker. Okay, so we do need to create a wood route. And we need to create a steel route. So if I find an industry, alright, let's bring this up, where its shipment of product is machine. Alright, there we go, that's better. Click the right one first, boy. So we have one in, they're actually companies. We actually have Boeing up, is that in like near Seattle area? Interesting. We had Ford GM, which this is up near Detroit, which that will probably be a good one to utilize. We also have NASA. Ooh, where's this one? Just outside of Los Angeles right now. And we also have Sin Labs. Where are you? Ah, okay. So I think the best one will probably be Ford GM. Now we need wood, which there is a wood plant down here and 2 lumber yards over there. There's also a lumber yard down here. But then it also needs steel. So the nearest steel plant is just here in Chicago or in Pittsburgh. There is a bit of iron ore up here. There's a little bit of coal down here. So bring them to there. Should be fairly easy to transfer over to there. So bring a run from over to there. Ah. Okay. Okay. So to make the machines, to then bring it into Kansas, and also take it over different cities as well. But this is a great setup. This could be a glorious freaking setup right now. Right. I think we've got a game plan. I won't do it just now because the game plan is too real at this point. So, it would be nice to get a third train on this run. It would be really nice, and we should soon be able to afford it once this train drops off here. So to buy a vehicle and select a train. So it's steam, bam, cargo, add in the 6 gondolas. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1.482 million is how much it's going to cost us. And this train right now, which is slowly making its approach, I have a feeling it's going to get there and I'm going to be a couple of dollars off it. I just have that feeling. I just have that feeling. You ready? Nope. Bam. Purchased. And then set that train up on that line. I ain't too bothered about where it's spaced out because it makes no difference. Oh! So it's going to be simultaneously running smoothly along with this one. So they're pretty close. A little bit too close, if you ask me. That works out fine anyway. It'll work out fine. 3 trains on that run right now, so we should be I mean, it would be nice to get them a bit more evenly spaced out. I mean, I could flip and reverse that one. But that's just something we'll do over time. Maybe I can do it now. So if it gets past there, if I reverse it. So it goes back that way now. And then this is going to come in first, meaning that this train has to wait. Thus giving this one a bit more of an advantage to get further down to make it even more spaced out. That's perfect. Now I'm going to have these spaced out quite nicely. So that drops all that off. That's going to skadoodle. So at least I know this system now works. And they should be evenly spaced out enough that we get big payments consistently as time goes on. So that's now waiting. That's going to go through. So this train system works perfect. So what I eventually need then for Kansas is maybe to have a crisscross of another train network going over for the passenger run. And a passenger run can come from Kansas down to Nashville. It can actually come all the way down into Miami. And then we'll have another one going up for Atlanta, Charlotte, Washington, New York, and Boston. I just realised New York's actually grown quite a bit. I didn't realise how much that was actually growing right now. But yeah, these trains should be beautifully spaced out. That one is now bringing the goods back. That one's bringing some goods back. And that one's on the way to collect some goods. Glorious. Okay. So, if you want to see another episode, guys, smash the like button down below. If you are new around here, make sure you do subscribe so you get notified when it does come out. But most importantly, in the next episode, we'll try and start taking a look at getting the food that it produces delivered to the cities nearby. And at the same time, we're going to work towards creating some machines as well. Because we're going to use Kansas as our main city to begin with, then we'll quickly progress away from it to build up other cities. But a lot of these other cities require food and they require machines. To be honest with you, they all require food and machines. Is that true? Okay, not all of them require food machines, but all the ones on the East Coast do, apart from Panama over here. So yeah, this will be quite an important route. And then once we've got Kansas filled up to the brim with food and machines, we can then create a passenger line that goes from Kansas to Nashville. By doing that, it also allows me to then bring the cargo over, which is going to be food and machines, which is exactly what they need. Oh my, we can create a pretty good little system. This is going to be really interesting. So as more food or grain or wheat, whatever, gets dropped off here, we make some big dollar bills again. We have a train on the way back, a train going up. Oh, guys, we've never been so rich. We've never been so rich at this point. So this profit or income should be the highest we've ever seen. It should be. It should be. But we're going to end it here, guys. I hope you did enjoy this episode. If you want to see more, smash the like button down below. Subscribe if you are new. But until next time, I'll see you all soon. So